Good morning, soul family. How you guys doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know what time of the day you're watching or what country you're in, but I welcome you all to this in-depth discussion. I'm going to give you a little insight of how Nicole's life works. So I got a download that some information needed to be covered about frequency. So doing my due diligence, I'm collecting some data, doing some things, and then I always run everything I collect by source through my higher self to confirm that it is accurate and to be trusted. So I start this process, and a lot of the information that's currently out there is outdated because, as a collective, the starseeds and the lightworkers have been doing such a fabulous job that we're speeding up the frequency, we're speeding up the timeline. And so Earth has ascended. I'm going to go over a lot of that because it's super confusing, and we really need to understand where we are from where we were. So this is going to be part one. As I was digging in and gathering information, it really became so much important stuff that I didn't feel like I could really cut out some of the meat. But it's too much for one video. People just don't have that much time in their life to absorb all that. And I really want it to be meaningful. I want it to be something that you can be like, aha, now I understand. So this is part one. I do know that there will be a part two, and depending on what comes through, there might be a part three. I'm not sure. So just hang in there. Let's dive in and see where we're at currently in our earth frequencies and where we came from. So I'm going to start at the basics. A lot of people comment that my videos explain things in a way that is easily digested. And I thank you for that. That is definitely something that comes through source. You know, a lot of the information that I spread and share is really channeled from source. And so I don't really take credit for that, but I thank you. And I'm happy that it's something that you can not feel overwhelmed with. I don't want to overwhelm anyone, but this information can get dense at times. So I'm going to kind of go back to the basics, and I feel like I need to cover some things. Source really feels like with the majority of the people that are tuned in frequency wise, they're there, but there's still some gaps in their overall understanding of things. So ascension is a state of consciousness. Ascension is not the physical form rising, it's the consciousness, it's the frequency rising. Okay, so ascension is a state of consciousness. A soul ascending is one product of ascension, but also higher frequency. Okay, so you're evolving in your soul, and as a result, you have a higher frequency. It's all pieces of the same pie. Okay, so what does this mean? As human beings, we are energy bodies. Okay, we take the form of matter of our body, but that's not what we are. That's not really who we are. Who we are is the soul, the cumulative soul lives. That's who we are. It's not who you were in this life. It's not what you accomplished in this life. It's not the car you got parked in your driveway. It's not the amount in your bank account. It's your soul. And so the goal on the ascension journey is to evolve your soul so that you rise to another dimension. So you leave third dimension, you ascend to fourth dimension, then you leave fourth dimension and you ascend to fifth dimension. That was also the same goal for Earth, for Mother Gaia, ascended to Hunamatea. So how is energy and what are humans? All matter is made up of empty space connected by energy atoms, many force fields that are electronically and magnetically charged to stay together. They absorb light and energy. Again, all the evidence and the science is there to prove we are energy bodies. When I start really channeling stuff, my nose itches, so I apologize. This is how bodies, the matter, the vessel that we choose for the spirit, for the soul, are simply but complexly just energy. The matter of our bodies are held together by the electromagnetic waves and the frequencies of the light. The vortexes, the focal energy points are known as chakras, auric fields, and vibrations. These are the holographic, meaning felt and seen, representation of our physical body, mind, and emotions. So how does energy and frequency ascend or elevate? The process is basically like you take inventory of your life. This is where you have to do your shadow work. So you have to clear out the non-serving things in your life, people, places, and things that generate and evoke low frequency responses. And then you want to have room, you make room for the higher frequency thoughts, feelings, and emotions. People that are really not taking an active role in the ascension journey, they do still ascend in their own pace and time. But those that are actively trying to do their very best on this ascension journey are understanding that our earthly bodies get completely distorted and full of negative energy pockets, blockages, negative entities, negative implants. All this stuff is very, very common. And if you're a human with a soul on this planet, you have them, unless you've been cleared. And then you have to work to stay clear. Because we are the light. And as being light beings, we are like attractive to beings that can't produce their own light. And we're also attractive to other beings of light. And we share that frequency of attraction. So naturally, our energy bodies are intended to flow with the energetic waves, the currents that come by way of solar energy, earth energy, galactic energies, and the vortexes. With energy bodies full of distortions and blockages and negative implants and all those things, it's the imbalance of the energy, because balance, the energetic body, the light body, should be in balance. And when it's out of balance, which occurs when you have blockages in one spot and not in the other, everything is really distorted. That's why we use the term distortions. Then you end up with physical manifestations in the matter, in the physical form, that is labeled as a dis-ease, imbalance. Okay. So with the emotional, physical, mental, spiritual abuse and trauma that a lot of us go through on this planet, and specifically, that all gets stored in our matter. It gets stored in our energy body. It gets stored in our light body. And it, over time, causes what Western medicine slaps a label on and either wants to do surgery or give you a prescription. It's not, I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just telling you that these are things that I've seen. I've been, I am Western trained as a registered nurse for over 25 years. And I've seen that when bodies go to the emergency room and they're complaining of abdominal pain, and the physicians check for a surgical problem and they don't find it, they often give a medication to help with cramping, like smooth muscle cramping, because that's what most of the internal organs are made of. It's not identifying the source of the problem. It's not taking care of the problem. It is literally meant to just get you comfortable enough to leave and follow up with your doctor. That's what they do. That is exactly how it's managed. And so people, out of desperation, find that they either end up in a situation where a surgeon says, okay, fine, I'll take you to the OR and prove that there's nothing in there. So then you get an unnecessary surgery, or you end up back at a naturopath. You end up in an alternative medication, integrative medicine, something like that. And you understand then that there's a whole another complex but easily fixed reason why you may have problems with your gut or your hand or your shoulder, your reproductive organs, things like that. And so there's a lot of evidence out there if you're willing to see it and understand. So once an energy body is clear of all the blockages, what happens? Well, we have to integrate that clearing. So the energy distortion blockage gets moved out. And then the tissues that have that toxic energy that's been stored have to detox. All that doesn't have anything to hold on to anymore. The binding, the negative energy that causes that polarity to hold on to is gone. So it can't exist. It's going to flush out. The way that it flushes out is what looks like a sinus infection or a cold. You may run a fever. You may have some nausea. You may have some diarrhea. You may have a little bit of a skin rash. It just depends on like what part of your bodies have been holding on to this negative energy, and then it will detox. So we always offer and recommend daily Epsom salt baths to help detox and pull these things through. Bentonite clay is another good thing. And it takes about 7 to 14 days, depending on the individual, to integrate, that full clearing. So the purging and the detoxing is it's individual, but it's kind of a standard time frame. So the frequency is no longer blocked, right? Your frequency, which I have an illustration of frequency behind me, your frequency is a waveform. And with blockages, that waveform gets distorted and minimized. So when the blockages are gone, then the flow of energy, which is our frequency, which equals our power, is unencumbered. It allows it to rise, ascend to infinity. So that's where all of our God-given, born with abilities start to flourish. Now, a lot of people have these abilities in spite of having blockages, and that just goes to show how strong they are. But once the blockages are removed, that's when the fun really is seen, felt, heard. So I'm going to go over the clairs again. I've touched on them several times in other videos, but it definitely warrants revisiting. So the abilities are what I'm talking about, the clair senses. So we have clairsentience or clair empathy. Two different terms means the same things, that you feel the energy, emotions of people's toxic energy, their pain, their fear, their guilt, their shame. You also feel their joy, but mostly we absorb that as an empath. We're just like a Velcro to those toxic energies that come our way. Claircognizant, which is knowledge without seeking it, details of divine information, dot connecting and resonating truth on a soul level. That's my strongest ability. And it really does come through as a channel. These are things that there's no way like Nicole in her life sought out this knowledge. It just drops into my being and it's divine. Clairvoyance is seeing visions without context. So where claircognizance is you know something without the context, then clairvoyance is you see something without the context. Clairaudience is hearing your messages either from source, the ascendant masters, your archangels, your guides. And then we are all born with these abilities. You also have clairfactient, that is smelling. So some people, it's going to be like a negative smell or a positive smell. So you have a no with negative smells and a yes with positive smells, or it indicates a presence. So what some people report is they smell the same smell of like gingerbread cookies that their grandmother used to make, right? And then they ask their higher self, is my grandmother with me? And they smell that smell again, like that's their yes, that's who, and a confirmation. So it's multi-dimensional, it's multifactorial, and these are abilities that we're all born with, but are really guided away from, told that doesn't exist, it's just our imagination, blah, blah, blah. That's the matrix telling you that you don't have magic when you do. How does this help frequency? So in the spiritual context, frequency is the measurement of the vibration of your energetic system. That frequency is dependent on the awareness and consciousness. The energy frequency is a direct correlation to the openness or lack thereof of your chakras. So the more that you are open and the more that you have a flow of energy, the more ascension or the more rise that you get in your frequency. It's not throttled back because of the blockages. So you flourish. People's abilities, that we like to say that they come online because the energy is really powering their abilities. So as we energy bodies become more in balance this dis-ease, then we are able to see an improvement in what some of the physical effects were of the imbalance of the energy. That's a real positive side effect that people see pretty quickly. And myself, I always use myself as an example. Whenever I was cleared of my negative energy, my negative distortions, and all those things, and fully activated, I was on 2 blood pressure medicines, 2 diuretics, and a medication for my stomach. And I had been bedside nursing, and I had been going through the pandemic and all those things, and the stress and the internal chaos that I was going through, and the turmoil and the pain was off the charts. So in the integration of the healing, within a couple of weeks, I no longer required those medications. And how did I know that? I asked my higher self, because I felt like I just had an internal knowing that I didn't need it anymore, that things were self-correcting, that I was healing because of the frequency. When you hear about, as we ascend, we'll be able to heal ourselves. Our bodies, our light bodies, are not sickly bodies. It's the matter that has disease, okay? Because it's where the manifests of the negative energy are stored. You're never going to hear that in Western healthcare. And you might hear it in Eastern. You should. But it's really hard to wrap our manipulated minds around, because we're so used to going to the doctor and getting a prescription, or going to get some tests done, or going to physical therapy, or whatever it is. And it's just not addressing the source of the problem. So when the source of the problem is corrected, the physical manifestations ease themselves out. So I was asking Mother Sophia, do I need this blood pressure medicine? Do I need, and I was really guided through weaning myself off of it. And all the while taking my blood pressure and being really cognizant of my symptoms, which I had some significant level blood pressures, like triple digits over triple digits, and lots of symptoms, and they just ceased to exist. And so I then recognized that I was actually having reactions to the prescription medications that I had attributed to the diagnosis, but it was actually the medication. Totally bad for me. So in my case, I was able to clear up those diagnoses because of the energetic imbalances were removed. When the energy flow was restored, that healed for me. My results may not be typical, and this is not me diagnosing you kind of a conversation. I'm just sharing with you what happened for me, and what happened for me was very real. No one can tell me that it didn't happen. So the expansion causes the particles to move quicker, which increases and produces rising in vibration and frequency, and that's just science, right? So the rise, which is your ascension, is sustained by frequently aligning to Source Creator and consciously choosing your higher vibrational awareness and consciousness. So there are low vibrational and high vibrational thoughts, feelings, and emotions. The highs are love, bliss, gratitude, joy, laughter, happiness. Those things that we really yearn for, and honestly have been vastly depleted as of late for most people. With the rise in frequency, one becomes more self-aware. They have a greater spiritual connection, increased compassion and kindness. They lose the urge and the habit of judgment. They have a deeper understanding of our spiritual connection to nature and our existence. So no one goes through the ascension process and clearing out all the negative energy and all that, and they go, okay, well, today I'm going to work on just my spiritual connection, because it's all encompassing. You're not going to have one part of it without having the other part of it. Now, it will also bring things to the surface that need to be dealt with. So if you have shadow work that you need to do because you have their propensity to judge and project your own fears, thoughts, and emotions on others, then that's going to be your pause, right? That's going to be your time where you step back, you really evaluate where that's coming from. We have lots of videos on my channel for helping you with shadow work. Please check those out. How can our frequency allow us to help humanity? And for me, long ago, I was really on this RV journey for a while, right? And a lot of that is about humanitarian aid, humanitarian projects, elevating humanity, righting the wrongs of our world, that kind of thing. And by and large, people are inherently good. By and large, people want to help the same groups of beings: homeless veterans, homeless people in general, homeless pets, healthcare, education, clean water, responsible trash removal, like things like that. Like it's a repetitive thing, because the problems are the problems no matter where you are, right? There's not one pocket of this planet that doesn't have really the same issues plaguing them with their overall humanity and their overall success. And so when an energy being starts to rise in their frequency, they leave third dimension and they move into fourth dimension. So there's a scale. Fourth dimension consciousness represents a frequency range of 8 to 14. So at 8, let's say your frequency is 8. Your mind, you know that your mind exists. At 9, my mind has desires. At 10, my mind has energy. At 11, my mind has love. At 12, my mind has expression. At 13, my mind has understanding. At 14, my mind has faith. 15 and above, 15 and 22 is where you go into fifth dimensional vibration, fifth dimensional frequency. At 15, you know that my spirit exists. At 16, my spirit has desires. At 17, my spirit has energy. At 18, my spirit has love. At 19, my spirit has expression. At 20, my spirit has understanding. At 21, my spirit has faith. And at 22, I am oneness. See, the goal of Ascension is unity and unity consciousness, where there is no more duality. There is no more us against them. There is no more judgment. There is no more keeping score. There is no more ego. It is literally the embodiment of the soul, the spirit, and all that that encompasses, with love, compassion, kindness, gratitude, joy, bliss, hope, all the things that deliver us high vibration. So whenever we are going through this process, first of all, I want to say that it's not as easy as it sounds. I mean, I'm putting it out there in a step-by-step, in a step-by-step process, hopefully that it makes it easier to understand. But this is definitely something that you enjoy, the hills and the valleys, the hills and the valleys. You have small victories, and then you have huge climbs back up to the top, right? And that's your shadow work, and everybody has to do it, and no one can do it for you. And that's why we say you have to save yourself. You have to decide that you're worthy of the work, that you're worthy of the love that you give yourself. You're worthy of the kindness and the compassion that maybe you never got from anyone else, but you don't need to get it from anyone else, because you get it direct from source and your own spirit, your own soul. Within us, we have everything we need to ascend. We allow the mind and the ego to take a back seat. Don't listen to them anymore, because they do not have your best interest of heart, and they are not connected to source. Your soul, your heart center, your heart chakra is connected to source. That is pure love energy, unadulterated, no biases, always in your best interest. Sometimes the messages that come through hurt like hell, but it's truth, and it's truth we have to hear, right? And I've always said you can respect the truth, but you can't respect the lie. So if you truly want ascension, if you truly want unity, if you truly want to help humanity, we have to start within ourselves. That is the only way. That is the only way. Now, dropping mustard seeds all along the way, helping people find their way, being leaders because you're walking the walk is very important. If you're just talking about it, but you're not actually doing the work, you're doing yourself the biggest disservice, but you're also leading others into a false light mentality. So, vibration of disease, 5.5. Now, remember, we just talked about those levels 8, 12, 15, 22 is where you're going to be unity consciousness, right? So, all the way down, 5.5 is where disease lives, between 5.5 and 25.5 hertz. That's the vibration that is put off by disease. Reason for low frequency and low vibes are fatigue, anger, nervous tension, frustration. This is why turning off mainstream media increases vibration and increases your frequency. And all of a sudden you feel better because that vision is feeding you information to incite fear, shame, blame, guilt, panic, chaos, all low vibrational thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It doesn't do anything to serve us in the ascension realm. It doesn't do anything to serve us as a collective. It doesn't do anything to really serve us as a humanity. It is a disservice, and it actually causes more harm than good. This is why the earth frequency at 27.4 is well above the highest level of disease. The earth vibrates at a healthy level. When we connect to the earth by way of grounding, putting our feet, bare feet, on the grass, the dirt, the sand, the water, that is whenever we are connected to the energy, the frequency of earth. And that's when we ground. So when we have extra energy that's flowing through us, when we really start to be activated and we have this unencumbered flow of energy, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm having anxiety. It's not anxiety. You're feeling, maybe for the first time, the flow, the unencumbered flow of your own energy, your own frequency. The best thing to do to settle that is to step outside, be in nature. Let the grounding do what grounding does, right? So some places on Earth vibrate much lower than Earth's actual hertz. These are the places that have been documented to vibrate lower than 27.4 hertz. Hospital, full of blame, guilt, fear, pain. Shopping malls, bars, nightclubs, prisons, subway stations, old office buildings. Pain vibrates at 0.1 to 2 hertz. Anxiety vibrates at 0.2 to 2.2 hertz. Irritation is 0.9 to 6.8 hertz. Noise, just irritating noise, 0.6 to 2.2 hertz. And superiority, I don't like that word, can you tell? Vibrates at 1.9 hertz. All very low vibration. And there's a lot of people that live in the pain, live in anxiety. They live irritated at everything. They're constantly feeling like they have some level of superiority over others. They are all low vibrational, all chasing the false light. However, the act of being in gratitude, gracious, having empathy, compassion, 150 hertz. or plus, 150 plus. Universal love, unity consciousness, loving our brothers and sisters no matter what they look like or what they're doing or what they're saying, 205 hertz. Miracle tone, 528 hertz, activates the DNA and helps repair damage. So activating the energy increases the vibrations and the frequency, and the power attracts true abundance, wealth, effortlessly flow of positive energy, and we just ride that flow. You'll hear people that are in that fifth dimensional frequency talk about the flow, and they're very aware when something in their immediate environment starts to feel like force, and they back up and they go, okay, what decision did I make that contributed this to no longer feel like flow, but now it feels forced? And they back up, they course correct back to source, further in alignment, and then they feel the flow again. It's a constant thing. This is not something like, oh yeah, did my ascension today and I'm good. Oh yeah, I did my shadow work last week and I'm all done. No. If you believe that, you have been lied to. It is a journey that really never stops. It's more like an onion. You peel one layer off and you think you're good and your tears stop flowing and you find a little respite, and then more comes that you have to deal with. Now, it's just friction. It's just an uncomfortable feeling because we get accustomed to living the way that we've always lived, right? So there's a lot of people that get to this point where they go, yeah, that shadow work, it really sucks. I don't like the way it feels. I'd rather stay miserable and just keep doing what I'm doing. Have a good life. Again, we all have free will choice. That is their free will choice. Is it in their highest and best good? No, it's not, but it's their choice. And that opportunity will come around for them again. And whether they are in the third dimension or kind of stuck in the fourth dimension, the opportunity will come around to them again to make a higher timeline decision in their free will choice to continue down that path of clearing out the shadows so that you can let in the light. I make it actually sound really simple, but it's a lot of work. You're very well supported. You have a divine team that is with you always, ready to help you. You can come into Healing Disclosures on Telegram. You can have your energy clearing and really see what true feeling and true ascension is like. Realize what your abilities are, and your life just zooms, takes off in a much different trajectory. So keeping the high vibes, that's one thing. So when you're encountering people that are always living in the pain, talking about the pain, wallowing in their pain, superiority complex, super irritating, make the choice to block that, remove that, walk away, ignore them, don't engage. That's how we protect our energy. That's how we put up healthy boundaries, okay? Because a lot of these people just like grenade bomb everybody around them with their low vibrational thoughts, feelings, and emotions with no regard for what it's doing because they have no clue. Most of them have no clue. So it's not through malintent. It's true ignorance on their part, but now you know better. So when you know better, Source really wants you to make better decisions. You are not rewarded for continuing to allow people to suck all your energy away. You are not rewarded for being a doormat. You are rewarded in the eyes of Source Creator, Mother Sophia, your angels, your archangels, your ascendant masters, and your guides for maintaining your sovereignty, for maintaining your own self-love, your own compassion, your own empathy, your own healing, for doing what's absolute best and necessary to maintain your power and not give it away. We fight really hard to take our power back and realize that we are not helpless. We don't have to wait on someone to come around and make us feel better. We have it within us. Don't let the same people that have just sucked your energy dry your entire life continue to do that once you find that you can raise your own energy level. Don't let them steal it from you. Set the boundary, turn away, pivot, go the opposite direction. You are only missing out on low vibrational shame, blame, guilt, frustration, irritation, drama. You will be better off for it. And the blessings come to you. The blessings have a place to come when you are cleared of all the shadows and you're not constantly holding on to everybody else's toxic emotions. We really, as a culture, have been done a huge disservice to make us think that we have to constantly give to every single person being on the planet but ourselves. That is not healthy. It is not in your highest and best good. It is not what Source wants you to do for your life. You can be a compassionate, empathetic healer. You can be a help to humanity only whenever you've done it for yourself. If you have not done it for yourself, you don't have it to give. You're giving from a place of a void. The void is a new beginning. It's up to you on whether you want to do that. So live, laugh, play, paint, sing, dance, enjoy all of life's beautiful, free miracles. Sunshine, grass, calm rain, the flow of a creek, laughter of a child, a wonderful hug from a family member. I mean, just don't take those little things for granted because they are actually what feeds your soul. They are what gives you what your soul needs. Okay? Not anything in a device, not an app, not anything coming from your television. All of that stuff actually lowers your vibration. It's taking your energy and it's warping your mind against what's real. It's trying to get you to be convinced that what you're seeing in the devices is what's real, and it's not. It is made up to elicit a certain response from us. You also want to try to eat healthier. Okay. As you ascend and your frequency rises, your eating habits will organically change. They're going to migrate to something that is higher frequency. For myself, because of physical stuff that was happening, I ended up being a keto person. I ate keto for years. I was already off sugar, all that kind of stuff, but I really needed it because my joints were hurting so bad. They wanted to give me the diagnosis of fibromyalgia, which I know I didn't have. And I felt like it was really truly coming from my diet. And it was. When I detoxed from sugar, which is a horrible drug that we have all been attacked with, and started to eat really higher protein and fresh vegetables, I felt better. So that's why I did it. Now, when I went through my Ascension, in the beginning, I was struggling because the things that I normally ate, I had no appetite for. And actually, I didn't eat for several days sometimes because I was just hydrating, meditating. And if I ate anything that was like fruit or vegetables, just raw. And so I was listening to my body, and my body needed that reset, that purge. Now I continue to listen to my body. If I crave a protein, I have an animal or a plant-based protein. I no longer eat really any animal products, mostly. And it's not because I just like woke up one day and was like, I'm gonna not do that anymore, because I was not successful at that. I tried. It was truly a byproduct of the rise in frequency and the ascension process. Whenever your frequency rises, there's really no place for that dense, heavy diet. It doesn't feel good. It does not serve us, and it just won't happen. So be aware that eating like seeds and grains and fresh vegetables and fresh fruit and things that have not been processed really feed that frequency and allow your body to keep up with the rise in frequency. So that I'm going to close it out here for today. Stay tuned. Part 2 is going to go much further into how our frequency connects to Earth and what we can do to help humanity in this now moment. So thank you for joining me on Healing Disclosures, and I will see you again next time.